draw Amazon headquarters. Talk a little bit about what you're trying to do on the ground in terms of making, we know there's been a renaissance in Detroit, but making it, your state, a magnet for some of these high-tech jobs.
Sure, I'm happy to. It's going great, but there's much more work to be done. And it's great to be at Microsoft. I'm an old Gateway guy, so I go way back to the days. We were the first people to bundle Office, so I can tell old Microsoft stories for the folks here. But if you look at what we're doing today, it's really exciting. So I view my top priority as a governor in terms of long-term constructive things to improve our state is the talent question. How do we get people career connected? And Michigan is the comeback state, Detroit is the comeback city in the nation. But we need to take it to the next level, because the question now you're finding in our area, but also across the country, is there are a lot of great, well-paying open jobs out there, but people don't have the skills to make that connection happen. So what I've just launched yesterday, I'm very proud of, I call it the Marshall Plan for Talent. We've done a lot to help with career tech education, making wonderful apprenticeship programs put in place in our state. But the Marshall Plan is to really say, let's go out and understand we need to transform our educational system. Our current system is from the 1800s. We still have summers off because we can go out and work in the fields. It's silly. And we have too many silos. So we have a K-12 silo, a higher ed silo, and a private sector silo. We need to blend these together and go to much more competency-based certificate programs. Microsoft has programs to do this. Companies like Cisco do. That if you go on these programs and you get a certificate after a year or 2 years, you can get a job paying $60,000, $80,000 a year. And these jobs are going unfulfilled. So the Marshall Plan is all about how do we dramatically accelerate that. So it's about a $100 million investment over a 5-year period to say, let's get at least 55,000 Michiganders through certificate programs and providing scholarships for lower income students to be part of this process, to support our teachers with new resources and tools, to dramatically ramp this up in areas like software development. That's one of the highest demand positions out there. And think about it, software development. Where can you go? How many schools do you know actually have programs that allow you to get that certificate? Very few. And we should have tenfold as many of those programs in our schools. So let's ramp this up, and the Marshall Plan is to really say, let's reinvent our educational system in collaboration with our employers and the public sector to say it's going to be about an accumulation of certificates in lifelong learning. Because the other part, sorry, I'm on a roll here. This is a big topic for me, is the whole thing about K-12 and higher ed. We need to do something about the 18 to 22-year-old silo. But we're forgetting the point that I'll throw this proposition out to anyone. Anyone graduating today from school will probably have to go through at least 2 major retrainings during the course of their work life to stay relevant. And think about, where does lifelong learning come from? And we're even more ill-prepared to do lifelong learning than we are certificate-based programs in 18 to 22 or 16 to 22. So we need to really say, how do we change this thing from saying we have silos of K-12, higher ed, and the employment world to saying it's a blended world, and over the course of our lifetimes, we're going to accumulate competency-based certifications and credentials that are going to build on one another, that could lead to degrees, but things during our entire lifetime.
And you see a role for government in that.
Absolutely. Again, in terms of being a catalyst to bring people together to talk about this, because this is a revolution that's coming. I actually wrote an op-ed piece about this, that the revolution's already started. We just haven't figured out what's going on. Because think about this. Does anyone see the pace of change in technology slowing down? No. And the whole issue about globalization. So to say we're going to do the same old thing the same old way makes no sense.
Well, speaking of globalization, I think